What's up guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, we're going to be discussing a new build that I made for Memento. But before we get started with the gun, let's go over the keyword Fast Gunner. Fast Gunner is a continuous buff effect. While skill is in effect, each stack grants fire rate 1% and attack 1% for 2 seconds. Effect can stack up to 5 times. That's a very simple keyword, but each Fast Gunner weapon uses this keyword differently. Today our gun is gonna be Memento. Memento has 36 chance to trigger Fast Gunner. This chance is doubled with a weak spot hit. When Fast Gunner is triggered, one bullet will be reloaded to your magazine. Each shot has a 40% chance to consume one more bullet. And when we consume that extra bullet, we gain 80% damage. To put this into demonstration, if you focus my magazine at the right bottom, you will see that sometimes shots will actually consume more than one bullet. As you can see, we went from 5 to 3, we went 3 to 2, then we went 2 to 0 and back to 1. So as you can see, we will end up consuming a lot of ammo. For Memento Calibration, we really want to go for that precision style for extra attack damage. The range bonus also helps, and the fire rate decrease doesn't really matter to us since we're going to be using a Fast Gunner status that allows us to get a lot more fire rate. And make sure to get the two other attributes to be weak spot damage. Rapid shot style calibration also works fine, but it is actually a lot worse than precision style due to the loss of 40% attack damage. For our accessories to get a balanced sheet, I went with tactical suppressor, compact reflex sight, integrated laser sight. You can either use tungsten pistol ammo or go with precision pistol AP ammo for that extra little bit of damage. For our secondary, we want to choose bingo. The main reason for this is actually just a quick marking ability. As you might know, when you switch to your bingo, the next shot is always going to mark the target, making it extremely reliable. And usually when we're using our Memento, we don't have that much time to actually swap back and forth to keep that Fast Gunner stacks up. For your bingo calibration, go with rapid shot style and double weak spot damage. And for your accessories, I always go with large break, precision optic, and tactical SR mag. As far as the armor goes, starting with the key armor, we want to go Oasis mask. This allows our stacks to actually go even higher, and each stack grants us even more damage. For our force-up bonus, I went with the classic Renegade. This allows us to get a lot more weak spot damage, and reloading a little bit more ammo to our next magazine actually helps us a lot. And for the one piece, I actually went with Bastille for that extra 10% weapon damage. For your height choices, on your helmet you can choose any of them, they don't really matter that much. But if you want to go for the best one, it's going to be golden wool, but it is really tough to get these, so I would understand if you opt for something else. For our chest and legs, we're either going to go with crocodile hide for heat resist, or some deer hide or any other hide for some cold resist. Your gloves are going to be just yield boost on when you're gathering things, so you can choose whatever you like, whatever fits your game style or play style. For our boots, this time I actually went with roll speed because I think roll speed is really strong, but you can always go with some sprint speed for that extra movement speed. Your mask is going to be your main source of damage hide, so you either want to go with wolf skin or you just want to go with golden wool for that extra weapon damage. For your deviant, if you can, you want to go with lone wolf's whisper. The reason for this is it gives us a lot of extra weapon damage. It can hold aggro, causing other enemies to attack it during a fight. But if you cannot get access to wolf, or you just simply don't have a good one, you can always go with butterfly emissary. Butterfly will give us 40% damage on weak spots, which is a good alternative. Before we get into mods, I want to share something very important with you guys. The three main attributes that we're going to be going for are going to be weak spot damage, weapon damage, and damage to great ones. As far as I can tell, these three attributes are multiplicative to each other. This means that you want to get them as close as possible to each other, not one overwhelming the other one. You can see a quick example of this right here. This is very important to note because this allows us to maximize our damage by investing into damage to boss enemies, which is great ones. The reason for this is there aren't many things that gives us damage to great ones. It's only achievable either in the attributes or just from certain foods. So we want to maximize this as much as we can. Now going into our mods, our first weapon mod is going to be Shooting Blitz. The reason for this is if we do not have this, our fast gunner stacks will run out. For the bingo, we want to go with Vulnerability Amplifier for extra 8% damage. Starting with our helmets, we want to go with Precise Strike. This will give us up to 36% weak spot damage. Blitzcrank will give us extra 5 stacks, meaning extra 5 damage, and on top of it, we will actually get 1% fire rate for each stack that we have, making it really strong. For your jacket mod, go with weak spot damage boost. For our pants, I couldn't really find that many good options, but since we're reloading a lot, 3 strikes actually works really well, giving us 50% more weak spot damage on our first 3 hits. For our gloves, you can either go with Munitions Amplifier or weak spot damage boost. It really depends on what you want to prioritize. If you can go for Munitions Amplifier, it will be better because of the whole math thing that we talked about previously. For your boots, you can either go with Covered Advanced or Slow and Steady. It completely depends on which one has the better attributes. For our Cradle setup, we're going to be using Anti-Regen for our pistol damage, Anti-Phase for our sniper damage, Tactical Combo for a little bit more extra weapon damage, Deviation Master for extra damage to Great Ones. I'm using Lone Walker, but if you're in a team, you can go with Side by Side, Steady Ant for that extra weak spot damage, Bounty Hunter for extra weapon damage, and lastly, we're going to be going with Fast Pursuit for that extra bullet chance. For our food, best option by far is Crumbly Bread for that extra 25% weapon damage, and this can increase if you have Kitchen Set Gourmand or a really good Chefsaurus. And for your drink, you can really go with anything. I like all weathers too because it allows me to work around the weather mechanic completely and not worry about it. You can also use some sort of ale to completely negate the pollution effect. Another drink that I really like is actually iced tea, giving us extra roll speed and movement speed after we roll. This is really strong and really hard content, so I highly recommend you give this a try. Here's a quick DPS check for the weapon. To conclude this all, I want to give you guys my honest opinion on this weapon. Is it really that good? Should you invest in it? And what I think about it. Now, this weapon has a lot of potential. When you hit a weak spot, it's like a slot machine. Sometimes you can get multiple triggers and sometimes you might not get anything, and then you will have to reload your weapon empty. If you get lucky with your triggers, this weapon can go up to 1 million damage in a single clip. But that is extremely rare scenario. In most cases, you will see yourself doing upwards of 500k damage. Now that's still pretty good, but to keep that going, you actually need to maintain your stacks. As you can see, I'm currently hitting the dummy and I'm getting stacks. And as soon as I reload, if I don't shoot for like 3 seconds, I lose all of my stacks. And what that means is we're losing a lot of fire rate and a lot of damage. And in some scenarios, you can make this work. But in most scenarios, you cannot make this work. And for this gun to be viable, the boss has to have a weak spot. If the boss doesn't have a weak spot, if I hit it on the chest, you see I'm doing 5k, 10k damage. and I'm not proccing Fast Gunner as often at all. And when I hit a weak spot, I'm hitting 50k, 40k, 25k. The difference is incredible. So in my opinion, this weapon is a fun weapon where you can run around and deal a lot of damage to enemies. And most normal enemies will get one-tapped by this weapon, making it really satisfying. But overall viability wise, and if I had to rank this weapon out of every weapon that I have played so far, I will put this weapon at like B+ tier. I don't even think this becomes an A tier because it is extremely unreliable. If you do not hit a weak spot, or even if you miss a shot, the weapon becomes C tier. The reason why this is so bad is because we need to reload very frequently with this weapon, and each shot makes a huge impact. Our shots can deal up to 200 to 300k damage, so us missing that one bullet can make a huge difference. Well, that's gonna be all for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about it. Do you really think Bingo is stronger than Memento, or Memento stronger than Bingo? And if you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.